For decades, we've been told the same story. Success is a brutal uphill climb, won through sheer grit, discipline, and relentless willpower. Push harder. Try more. Resist temptation. But that story is incomplete, and in many cases, flat out wrong. Modern psychology reveals a far more powerful truth. Most of your behavior is shaped not by motivation, but by environment. Your actions are quietly guided by the options around you, the friction in your path, and the defaults you didn't consciously choose. When the environment is poorly designed, even the most motivated people fail. When it's engineered well, progress feels effortless. This video pulls back the curtain on those hidden forces. You'll discover how your surroundings, physical, digital, and social, are constantly nudging your decisions, often without your awareness. And more importantly, how you can reverse engineer those nudges so that the behaviors you want become the easiest, most automatic choices you make. This isn't about forcing discipline, it's about removing resistance. Welcome to Learn Express, where we apply the science of psychology and behavioral design to build lives that work with the brain, not against it. In today's episode, Beyond Habits, Engineering Your Environment for Effortless Success, we'll explore why willpower is unreliable, how cognitive load silently sabotages progress, and how principles like choice architecture, friction reduction, and default bias shape nearly everything you do. You'll see real-world examples of how small environmental changes outperform motivation, and you'll learn practical, science-backed steps to redesign your workspace, your home, and your digital world so that success stops being a struggle and starts becoming the default. By the end, you won't be asking how to try harder. You'll be asking how to design smarter. Because when your environment is engineered correctly, success doesn't require constant effort. It flows. Let's begin with the core idea: environment engineering. The deliberate use of nudges to shape behavior. The concept of a nudge was formalized by behavioral economists Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein in their work on behavioral economics. A nudge is any feature of the environment or choice architecture that predictably alters behavior without restricting options, removing freedom, or significantly changing economic incentives. In other words, people can still choose anything, but the environment gently steers them toward better decisions. This matters because human behavior is rarely the result of careful, rational deliberation. Most decisions are made quickly, automatically, and with minimal conscious effort. Nudges work by aligning with how the brain actually operates, rather than how we wish it did. At the center of this approach is choice architecture, the way options are structured, ordered, and presented. Small design details have outsized effects. Defaults, placement, visibility, timing, and framing all influence what people choose. When healthier, smarter, or more productive options are easier to access, or simply more obvious, they are chosen more often, even without motivation. Cognitive load is the silent force behind this effect. The brain is an efficiency machine. Faced with too many decisions or too much effort, it defaults to the path of least resistance. When positive actions require fewer steps, less friction, or less mental energy, they become the automatic choice. When they require planning, remembering, or resisting temptation, they fail, regardless of intention. Environmental design leverages this reality using well-established psychological mechanisms. Defaults, which people tend to accept rather than change. Salience, making important options more visible. Social proof, signaling what others are doing. Emotional cues, which influence attention and motivation. Friction reduction, removing unnecessary barriers to action. The goal is not to control behavior, it's to remove unnecessary obstacles. Instead of asking, how do I force myself to do this? Environment engineering asks, how do I make the right action the easiest one? When environments are designed intelligently, willpower becomes optional. And when willpower becomes optional, consistency becomes inevitable. Research consistently shows that nudges are effective at producing real behavior change. Large-scale reviews and meta-analyses of choice architecture interventions demonstrate measurable improvements across domains like health, finance, sustainability, and productivity. The reason is simple. Nudges work with human limitations instead of fighting them. This approach leverages bounded rationality, the reality that our decision-making capacity is limited by attention, time, and cognitive resources. We don't carefully weigh every option. We rely on shortcuts. When environments are designed to support better choices, those shortcuts start working for us instead of against us. Now let's bring this into the real world. Start at home. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on motivation. Engineer visibility and friction. Store highly processed snacks out of sight in hard-to-reach places. Place fruits, vegetables, and ready-to-eat healthy options at eye level and within arm's reach. These small changes dramatically shift behavior because visibility and convenience are among the strongest predictors of choice. Visual cues matter. Plate size, color contrast, and food placement influence portion size and food selection without conscious awareness. When healthy foods are more visually salient and easier to access, people consistently consume more of them, not because they decided to, but because the environment quietly guided the choice. The key insight is this: every environment already nudges you. The only question is whether it nudges you in the right direction. By redesigning your surroundings to reduce effort and decision fatigue, you transform healthy behavior from a daily battle into a default response. And that same principle scales from your kitchen to your office, your phone, and your entire life. Next, we'll look at how environment engineering works in workspaces and digital environments, where nudges silently shape focus, productivity, and success. Let's move into workspaces, where environment engineering has an outsized impact on focus and performance. A cluttered workspace increases cognitive load. Visual noise competes for attention, subtly draining mental energy and reducing task persistence. By contrast, a deliberately pared-down, purpose-built desk signals readiness. Keep only essential tools within reach. Everything else becomes friction. The result is a ready-to-go environment where focus is the default, not a struggle. Digital environments matter just as much. Your phone and computer are among the most powerful behavior-shaping tools you interact with daily. Default settings quietly dictate how attention flows. App blockers, notification limits, grayscale mode, and intentional home screen design reduce the salience of distractions. Auto-opening productivity tools or task managers nudges you toward purposeful action before impulse can take over. In both physical and digital spaces, the mechanism is the same: automaticity. When environments are designed correctly, behavior unfolds without conscious effort. You don't fight distractions, you simply encounter them less. But how do you apply this systematically? Here's a practical framework. Step 1. Identify the goal and the barrier. Define the behavior you want to make automatic. Then identify what currently blocks it. If you want to exercise more, the barrier might be friction. Gym clothes buried in a closet, unclear plans, or too many steps to start. Step 2. Make the right action effortless. Reduce the number of decisions required to begin. Lay out workout clothes the night before. Keep equipment visible. Remove setup time. When the cost of starting drops, consistency rises, without requiring motivation. Step 3. Make undesirable actions harder. Bad habits thrive on convenience, increase friction, and they weaken automatically. Unplug the TV. Store the remote out of reach. Log out of distracting apps. These small barriers interrupt impulsive behavior long enough for intention to reassert itself without relying on willpower. Step 4. Use cues and defaults strategically. The brain follows signals. Set your phone to do not disturb during deep work hours. Replace habitual cues. Put a book where your phone used to sit, or open a task manager by default when your computer starts. Defaults shape behavior precisely because they're rarely questioned. Step 5. Iterate, test, and reinforce socially. Environment design is not a one-time fix. It's an experiment. Observe what works, refine what doesn't, and adjust continuously. Layer in social levers like accountability partners or public commitments to amplify consistency. Systems outperform intentions, especially when reinforced socially. In the end, success isn't won through daily battles of willpower. It's built through intelligent design. By engineering your environment, shaping choice architecture, and reducing cognitive load, you transform effort into ease and intention into inevitability. So take a look around. How have you engineered your space to support your goals? Share it in the comments. Your setup might inspire someone else. If this episode redesigned how you think about success, support the channel by liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications for more psychology-backed life upgrades. Thanks for watching. Stop fighting your environment and start designing your success.